Oh, hey. Well, you caught me in my man cave. I come down here to work out and to read a little Judy Blume on the sly. I'll tell you, I don't like the way Nancy thinks she's prettier than the rest of us, but I have to admit, the Preteen Sensations is an awesome name for a band. And where did she come up with that one? Well, anyway, I'm here today to talk to you guys about divine command theory. So, what is divine command theory? According to divine command theory, what causes an action to be right or wrong is that God commands or forbids it. God commanding, love thy neighbor, is what makes loving one's neighbor morally right. Whereas God's forbidding of adultery is what makes adultery morally wrong. So God deciding something is wrong is what makes it wrong. You see, the idea is that morality can only be understood by reference to God's will. So if you're religious, the issue of what makes right actions right and wrong actions wrong may seem unproblematic. God does. In Brothers Karamazov, Dostoevsky makes it sound like he's a divine command theorist because he has one of his characters say, if there is no God, then all things are permitted. See, that makes it sound like that the only source of morality is God. If you take God out of the equation, then there is no right or wrong. Dostoevsky seems to be suggesting there. So that explains a little bit about divine command theory. Many have... Oh, I don't know who... Hello? Who is this? Oh my, you. He says it's God. Yes, oh, well, I'm honored to be taking the call. So, what can I do for you? Oh, gosh, God, you know I would do anything for you, but I think that would be morally wrong. How many are you talking about? Just the ones watching this video. Well, I just don't. Yeah, I do. I have their parents' addresses. So, yeah, during the breaks. That's true. They tend to. Listen, I don't feel right about this because he says if he commands it, then it has to be morally right. According to, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to kill you guys, but that just doesn't, if not killing you is wrong, I don't want to be right. So if God tells Chris to kill his students, then, by divine command theory, that makes it the right thing to do. I don't know. It just, a butter knife, I'm not so sure that would make it less painful. I mean, it seems more innocent, I know, but I want, oh, hang on. I'll call you back. Now we're going to look at an objection to divine command theory, the will of God objection. Different people have different beliefs about what God wills, and there's no way to figure out who is correct. How does Chris know that killing the students is really God's will? Could God just be testing him? Might someone other than God be on the phone? Could Chris have lost his mind and falsely believe that there is someone on the phone with him when there actually isn't anyone there on the line? On the other hand, you can't know that killing is not God's will either. Maybe God wants the mass murder to occur for a reason we can't understand. If God destroyed the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah for being wicked, as the Bible claims in the Old Testament, maybe he wants Chris to destroy students who have been sinful too. Dang, this is a toughie. So there is no way to know which course of action, killing the students or not killing, is the will of God. So I'm noticing in the chat that some of you are saying God would never ask me to do such a terrible thing. Hang on. Hello, are you still there, God? It's me, Margaret. No, just kidding you. I can't fool you. It's Chris again. Well, listen, so God, some of the students are thinking that this can't really be you because you wouldn't really ask me to do something like that. Well, because you're all good. He says, if he defines good, then the act of murder becomes good. If he commands it, it's automatically good. The Euthyphro objection. In the dialogue known as the Euthyphro, Socrates asks the following: does God command an activity because it is right, or is it right because God commands it? If loving one's neighbor is right only because God commands it, then God could have commanded anything and it would have been just as right. So, for example, he could have commanded that you should hate your neighbor and try to kill him. But it seems false that random murder would become right just because God says so, just because God commands it. Listen, God, I'm really flattered that you have called me and asked me, but, I really like you a lot, but I just don't think I can follow you in the way you mean it. I'm so sorry, but I'm really flattered, and yes, I just cannot murder for you. Even if you command it, I guess I still think it would be wrong for me to do what you're suggesting. So I think moral values must exist independently of you. No, it's not you, it's me. I'm just in a place right now where I don't want to mass murder for anybody. Religious person's objection. God wouldn't command me to kill others. Response. Then there is a standard of good that God himself obeys. But that means he does not invent right and wrong, and that means divine command theory is false. If God commands loving because it is right, then divine command theory is false. God sees and reports what is right and what is wrong. He doesn't create right and wrong, he just acts as the messenger. If this is the case, then moral realism, the view that there's a moral truth independent of what God or humans think, is what's correct, not divine command theory. In the picture to your left, you see what it would be like if God makes up what's right and wrong. Then he can just pull these slips of paper out of a hat. So he pulls out a slip that says, "Thou shalt kill students in bed." No, like those fortune cookies. But you get the point. It would be arbitrary because whatever he commands is right, so it doesn't matter what he commands. But in the other picture, God sees what is good, what is truly, objectively good, and he's the messenger. He reports it to us. So he sees that killing is wrong, and he reports to us, "Thou shalt not kill." But he doesn't make killing wrong. It's independent from God whether something like murdering people is right or wrong. Hey, one last thing before we hang up, God. Could you put on Bob Newhart? Because I think we're really doing a poor version of his routine. So if you could just... Oh, he's not there yet. Well, what about Suzanne Plachette? No? What about the guy who played Howard? Well, oh well. I hope that helped explain some things about why it's difficult to connect religion with morality like we sometimes think.